So, I moved and I got a new haircut. It's like you're watching a whole new YouTube channel. Hey, what's up people, this is Dark Creates. My name is Josh and I'm an artist, and I just moved to Scotland for my university, and I'm really happy with the place I'm at. Like, my accommodation is great and the city is great, and yeah, it's wonderful. So I thought, what better to do to kind of introduce myself to my new surroundings, to my new home, than to paint something around me. And since I'm way too scared to go outside and paint outside, I'm just going to paint the view from my window, which is quite a lovely view. It's like green grass area and old brickwork, old stonework and ivy and stuff like that, like all those things you associate with like old British cities. So I'm going to be painting that today with watercolors. Hopefully it works out good. I'm not too experienced with watercolors. I've not painted with watercolors on this channel before, so let's hope something good comes out of it. Alright, let's get into the painting. Now, as I'm just putting down the very rough outline of where I want to be painting, I just want to say that I'm actually really new to watercolors as well. Aside from the like very basic cheap sets that you work with when you're like in elementary school or something, I have only started painting with real watercolors since my birthday, which was in June. And where I got this little set that I have right here. And since then I've only painted like twice or so successfully. But I must say that I feel like watercolor painting is something that comes very naturally. I'm not saying that I'm like naturally good at it or anything, but I do feel like it's something that's very intuitive and very forgiving, because yeah, as you're putting down these layers and layers on top of one another, they might seem pretty dark already, but then you let them dry and then they seem very light again. And that way, it's not like you're making any big mistakes that can't be fixed later on, because the paint will dry and be very light again. On the other hand, that does create this effect that you just feel like you're putting down the same thing over and over and over again, because it doesn't do that much when you're putting down the paint. Like it doesn't have that much of an effect, and it takes quite a long time, considering the little things that you're drawing, to create real contrast and value variation in your piece. On the other hand, what that does create is this really cool watercolor effect that only watercolor has, that like those layers and I don't know, getting darker around the edges of the blobs, like that very very vintage feeling. And I think that's just priceless, and it makes almost every watercolor piece just look good, just for that effect that you're painting with watercolor. And yeah, you don't have to actually be that talented to make it look cool. So I think that really helps and lets me get away with stuff that because I don't feel like I'm actually that good at it yet. I'm not saying that I'm horrible at it. I feel like it comes very easily, but I feel like, especially in this piece, I don't know why, it might be because I was painting leaves, and leaves are very detailed and small details and quite hard to paint, but I feel like I wasn't really getting there with the detail. Like, just the watercolor by itself wasn't detailed enough to like accurately represent what I was wanting to paint. So that's why you will see me soon take the painting off the easel and switch to fine liner and add in some details with the fine liner. Like I said, since I just moved here, I don't have all my art supplies here yet. All my other paints, for example, this is also part of the reason why I had to do this with watercolors, is because watercolors are the only paints that I have here right now. Like my acrylics and spray paints and oils were too big to take with me. My mom's going to come and bring them when she comes to visit me, but the watercolor set was small enough to take along. But anyway, like I said, I don't have all my supplies here right now. That's why I also don't have any like masking tape or any tape at all, which would have been nice for that looking out of the window effect with like crisp edges indicating where the window ends. But I didn't have the option, so I decided to just go with that sketchy look, which you will always also see translated into the line art that I'm going to apply in just a second. There's something about adding fine liner over like those watercolor blotches that is just really satisfying, because you can see the areas that are indicated already just by the watercolors, and then it's kind of your job to clarify what exactly it's supposed to be. And it feels almost like a puzzle, like putting together, even though you're the creator of the blobs that were there to begin with, of that piece of the puzzle, but it still kind of feels like filling in the information that is needed to understand what exactly is going on in the piece. And it's also one of those things that just boosts an artwork a lot. Like before it might look good, but then after it looks like twice as good or something. And so yeah, a very satisfying feeling laying the line art over the pre-existing watercolor art. And yeah, at this point I really don't have that much more to say to my process or anything, since yeah, I've explained everything, and I think everything is pretty self-explanatory too. But let me know in the comments if you would like to see more videos in which I try to expand my watercolor skills and try to get better at it, or if you prefer other paints or digital art. I'm really interested in knowing that. I feel like watercolor or traditional painting is a really good, like, taking a breather from digital art, because in digital art everything's always so flexible and adjustable, and you can draw something and start a drawing and put it away and work on it later again, and nothing's really finished, and everything is always such a I don't know how to say it, but for me, taking a breather from that digital world of art and just sitting down and painting something traditionally or drawing something traditionally, it just feels so much more like accomplishing something, because you sit down, you start something, you finish it, and then you have something finished sitting there. And yeah, it can be a very satisfying and relieving feeling, and yeah, kind of taking a break from my ordinary workflow. Yeah, and as I'm just drawing in these last few details, like I said, intentionally like scribbly lines, making this whole thing a little more sketchy, and I'm about to whip out my good old white gel pen, and add in some magical details that just makes everything pop some more. I feel like this is always a little bit of a cheat, because yeah, it just makes it look so much better, but I couldn't resist. So yeah, here we are finishing up. Alright, I'm about to show you the final result, but before I do that, let me quickly ask you to leave a like and subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And also leave your thoughts down below about these type of videos. Would you like me to make more of them where it's like a little bit more of a calm atmosphere and just sort of like babbling along while you watch me painting? I found it quite relaxing. Let me know what you think. Now let's look at the final result. Alright, there it is. I am quite happy with how this turned out. It's not my best painting ever, like I said. I'm just a beginner with watercolor painting, but I am overall not mad at it at all, and yeah, I hope to experiment with it more. Alright, for now, make sure to click here to subscribe to my channel, find a playlist with more videos you might like right here, and a video you might enjoy right here. I'm just gonna hang around here in the frame until you click on something, and I'll see you in the next video.